Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Siti Nur Holifah with ID number is 211101060010. Here, I wanna deliver the main point with the article that I have read before. The article is about second language acquisition in teaching English as a second language. Before we discuss about how second language acquisition and teaching English as a second language, let's remind about second language acquisition itself. Second language acquisition is the process by which people learn a language in addition to their native language. It involves various stages such as an exposure, comprehension, production, and refinement of language skills. So, in the article, there are 6 points that discuss. The first one from Croatian monitor model. According to Croatian 1981, the accurate system initiates speech for meaningful communicative purposes, while the learned system monitors its output, provided there is a time to focus on from rather than communication, and the learner knows the rules. Thus, the learning acquisition in distinction it is as the heart of Croatian monitor model. Croatian also distinguishes between two independent, which is subconscious, and learning, which is conscious. An example is immigrant who learned English to adapt to another country. This is the example of some sequence. And then, for example, what is conscious and there is a monitor is when the student is studying English at university. Talking about monitors, everyone. Here is also a student who really want to understand English consciously. Usually monitor according to the rules. They're more careful when speaking in monitoring it. For example, they focus on differences between I and me. It's different, like by and both, of course, and so on and so on. Okay, let's continue. The second one, evidence for the monitor model. McLaughlin 1978 reviews the evidence on which the monitor model is based. Morpheme studies have shown natural sequence of acquisition of grammatical morphemes for L2 that very similar to the for L1. Besides that, Snow and Hall 1982 studied English-speaking subject living in Holland and acquiring dot with little or no formal instruction. The 12 years to 15 years old showed the most rapid acquisition for all the skill tested, and the 3 to 5 years old the slowest. Besides that, Asher and Price 1982 found that adults learning listening comprehension of Russian were superior to children's. And besides that, Fatma in 1982 found that the children aged 11 until 15 years were more successful in learning morphology and syntax, while children aged 6 to 10 years more successful in learning phonology, biological, cognitive, and affective difference. And affective difference have all been posited as sources for this age related to differences. Okay, let's continue. The third one, the parallelistic model. Parallelistic 1978 is interested in the cognitive process that describe how people learn a second language. The model is organized on 3 levels, include input, knowledge, and output. Language exposure or input may occur through books in classroom or by immersion in the target culture. This information is stored in some form, or we can call knowledge. Most of the input gained in the formal classroom, such as grammar rules, pronunciation rules, or new vocabulary, is stored first as explicit knowledge and later transferred to implicit linguistic knowledge. But some remands, there are indefinitely and has to be consciously recalled. Input gained in a natural setting along with that transfer from to explicit comprehension and production tasks, or it's called output. Knowledge systems are similar to Croatian's learned and acquired system. In this model, there are 4 strategies by which the L2 learners use input to generate output: formal practice, studying grammar books, or using language drills and exercise. Using conscious knowledge to modify or correct output, and inferencing using information from several sources to arrive at some explicit knowledge. Okay, number 4, societal and affective configuration. Looks at societal factors such as dominance, lifestyles, exclusion, cohesiveness, and congruence, attitude, and length of residence in the target culture, all of which interact to produce good or bad learning situation. An example of bad also learning situation is an America who is considered dominant living temporarily in Saudi Arabia, where the culture is very different and there is high exposure. As a result, little alto acquisition occurs. An example of a good situation is an American Jewish immigrant to Israel, where the culture are considered equal and there is a cohesiveness and congruence. As a result, L2 acquisition is likely to be successful. The L2 acquisition context can be formal language, formal training, or informal language experience. Okay, number 5, individual style. Fillmore 1982 engaged in a longitudinal study of individual differences among Spanish-speaking and Chinese-speaking children learning English in immersion and bilingual programs in California. The Chinese children in her study, who more often turned to adults for guidance and support, seemed to learn faster in highly structured English immersion or bilingual class, but not in an open classroom. The Spanish children in her study, who tend to turn to peers for ideas and direction, seem to learn less English in bilingual class, which does not have good models to follow, and to learn more in an open classroom, which provides interaction with native speakers. That differences among learners are qualitative, not quantitative. The first Alto learners learn orally by listening totally and blocking out competing sound. He takes in a great deal of data and consciously synthesizes it. The second L2 learner associates with native speakers and has had no formal language learning. He does not conscious processing of language and does not try to memorize. The third L2 learner does not relate very well with the L2 community. He learns by listening and repeating, beginning with a simple sentences, with constant correction by the teacher. The fourth L2 learners first tries to get an intellectual understanding of the structure of the language, then talks to the native and reads in the target language. Although the four L2 learners come from different cultural backgrounds, they share some characteristic. Each learned English is natural setting, and each is outgoing and verbal, and thus open to input. So they have their own individual style. Okay, the last one, number 6, creative construction process. Statistical language acquisitions error also can become strategies. Dellenberg 1974 shows that most errors made by children learning English as a second language can be explained by the creative construction process. The creative construction process involves both universal strategies and variations in learning style. Data revealing interlanguage includes error analysis, acquisition sequence, and frequency of structure types produced without error. So everyone, I think that's all I could say today. I'm so sorry for the mistake that I made, and thank you so much for your nice attention. See you in the next assignment, and the last I will say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye bye.